So I was asked the question, do you love your parents? That's a question people would naturally go, yeah, of course I love my parents. We're not close, but I love my dad. I love my dad. I love my mom. If you know your parents, let's say that. If your parents are kind of in your life or in your life, the natural answer is yes, of course I do. We mean I get along all the time, blah, blah. When I was asked that question, for one parent, it was an easy, sure, yes. For another parent, it was hard for me to answer. In a sense, no, I knew what the answer is, but it's hard for me to actually say it out loud. So this is an exercise in that, and just saying, just not to slander him or anything like that, but it's just kind of like, there's certain things that feel so taboo to say out loud, even if they're true, right? So my mom, yes, I love her, of course, on some level. I'm caregiving her now. I'm taking care of her, of course. And I'm not even here to talk about her. That's not an exciting part of the story. My father, who I'm named after, obviously I'm James Lott Jr., who for years, I know that I tried to find connection with him. I tried to get him to be a father to me. And after 10 years of childhood and 20 years of adulthood, realizing this is not working and going to therapy, I realized several things. One, I was putting expectations on him that he could never fulfill. He could have never been the father that I guess I thought I wanted at any given time. It was not fair to him. However, on the flip side, it was fair of me to ask for a father. You have children. You were married to my mom. You chose to have me. To me, you have an obligation to be my father. But his obligation stops at pleasing me and becoming whatever father I think I need him to be. He needs to be the father that he is, and hopefully a good one. But he needs to be who he is. But for me, having to admit that I was the child in the situation, for years looking for him to say I'm sorry about my childhood, and that was never going to happen. It's not going to happen. I had to learn to let that go too. But see, there was a phrase, and I've talked this before in other shows a long time ago, but there was a phrase that I heard from Brene Brown on Oprah that changed my life, and that was, forgiveness is giving up the hope the past could be any different. I'll say it one more time. Forgiveness is giving up the hope the past could be any different. And that changed my life. And that made me really think, wow, he could apologize. She's blue in the face. But all that shit happened. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't go away. It's still in my brain. It's still there. It's part of my past. It's part of his past. But I can't. So even if he said I'm sorry, maybe it would have felt good to hear it and said it's kind of nice. But it didn't matter anymore. Something flipped in me and said, I need to forgive him. Just period. He was the father he could be. I need to forgive myself because I was the child in the situation. I had a right to ask to have a father, but I'll forgive myself for laying all this stuff on him that he possibly, or it seems like to me, could not fulfill. And that's a good lesson to know. You can't make people into what you think you need them to be. I had to really learn that lesson. That's just not how it works. You have to let people be who they are. Then you find a way to can they fit into your life somewhere? That's positive. For some of my friends, it's seeing their parents once a year. That's it. They're good. Some other friends, it's they talk every single day, all the time. Neither one is more right than the other. For this particular friend, see their parents once a year, it's perfect. They have a great time. They see each other at Christmas. They're there for a week. They do the whole thing, they go about their business. And I'm talking about a friend of mine who's been in therapy and stuff and realizes they're so different, her parents and her. About a week is enough time before they get each other's nerves. It's like she figured out a way to manage it. Yeah, they talk throughout the year here and there, but but they realized that, and the parents aren't pushing to see her either. So it's like they found a way to work it out. And I'm like, I'm not mad at that. If it works out for them, it works for them. Then if it truly works for them, then I have no problem. For me, I don't love my father. I don't really know him. I know him, but I don't know him. I know him from his actions over the last 56 years of my life, or inactions. I know him from things he's said to me, things he's done to me, things I've done to him and said to him. I don't even know what it's like to love a father. I had a couple of stepdads, and my one stepdad, Larry, I did love him. But Moses, I cared about him. I mean, I cared about him on some level. He was not my father. He was not a father to me. He was my mother's husband. But he was somebody who was super nice, never did anything to me, took care of my mother, which I appreciated. And I would call him Papa this, and they just joke around Big Daddy and all this stuff. But deep down in my heart, it was just like, I like him. And I guess I care about him deeply. He's a part of our family. But I'm realizing I don't know what it's like to love a father, or what a father's love is. I know what it's like for me and my children, the paternal stuff I have with them, but it was all learned. For me, I had to learn it. But for me, I had a couple of grandfathers who are now dead. I love them, but I have no other older male figure in my life that I can look to and say, oh my God, I love them. That's something I'm missing. But for me, it's really funny. It's all coming up for me, and I'm sharing this with you. I share my stuff with you guys. I was thinking about how I am today, and how if I had a fully present father, a fully present loving father, I wonder how that would be for me. And who I am today, and how it's affecting my work. Because who I am today is serving me well today. For my shows, my work ethic, I'm also a Gen Xer, so the latchkey kid stuff. My mother was an aloof mother for the most part. She was around, but she was doing her own thing. So there's kind of that combo I really had, but my age group, I'm the only person who had that. So I was very self-motivating and motivated, and I had goals, and this is how I am as a person. So I made it, in quotes, I'm going to say I made it in spite of my upbringing, or because of my upbringing. I don't know if he was more loving and present and supportive, would that make me more successful or less? It's almost all the heartache and heartbreak that I've dealt with him has made me more accessible in my work. My creative side, I've written some great songs. My audio dramas, I've written some great scenes. When I do certain interviews, I'm empathetic. I understand, I can sympathize, so, I didn't grow up sheltered, by no means. But I do. Sometimes I wonder, would have been better? I don't know. But saying it out loud that I don't love my father. because I don't really know my father. I have no positive memories of my father. None. I have memories that of him giving me advice on stuff that I find to be true. He was a smart man, smart businessman. So he gave me some great stuff in business and in education. I'm ambitious like he is. I'm well spoken like he is. There's some similarities completely from him. Now maybe, and I'm also, because I had a lot of therapy too, I'm able to accept that and embrace that and go, these are things I got. My mother got personality. People love, I got things from her, and I got things from him. I can totally see what they are. Everything. It's not a secret. So, and I got some negative traits from her and some from him too. I have to monitor those. So I'm very, very well aware. But again, I have no positive, fun memories of me, my father. None. That's sad on some level. So I really do not know him. I know of him. He is a man who gave me his name, some of his ambition. That's it. I have the same amount of care about him that I would a second cousin or a third cousin. So I don't know. It's just saying, it's really weird. He's here in LA and we have no relationship. He rejected me. And even with that, I'm actually have reconciled that too. He told me to go fuck myself and blah blah. And I told him I forgive him. I was able to tell him I forgive him. I was able to tell him I forgive myself. I was able to tell him I forgive us. The back and forth that we did. I told him I was able to do that. And even though he rejected me at the time, I still feel very proud that I was able to tell him that and get that off my chest, and I actually mean it. And I was like, you can still be mad at me, you can tell me to go fuck myself, you can do whatever you want. I'm okay though. If I went out this house right now and he was sitting outside, I would say hi to him. I have nothing, because I'm not holding on to anything anymore. I had to release it all. Because now that I'm an older adult, now that I've raised children, now that I kind of had some life experience, I see my parents as humans. I see them as adults. I see James Sr. flawed in all. I will never know the answers probably about what it is about me that really sets him off. I don't know. I just seem to set him off. So I don't know what that is. Because again, when I think about it, I have nothing against him. Yeah, our upbringing was not good, okay. But I literally have released all. I seriously have no feelings about it at this point. I can look back on it and go, yeah, that was horrible what he did, blah, blah. But it's so far removed from my brain and my heart at this point. I'm like, okay. If you want to, but see, the problem was, I should give this context. He wanted to tell me, and my siblings, I guess, he had an epiphany about why he wasn't the greatest father, and none of us wanted to hear it. And I guess so he got rejected. He didn't like it. But my thing was more of I when we responded back to him, I said, "That's great that you have an epiphany." And I said, I don't need to hear it. I just feel like we always go back and forth. Blame is placed everywhere. At this point, I'm 50 years old. It doesn't matter anymore to me. I said, if you found out why you were the way you were, then that's actually amazing for you. So my thought at the time was, I said, why don't you just listen to him? I go, it's beside this. You guys aren't getting the point. I'm used to him always, it was always something else. It was this, it was that, it was this, it was that. And it's like, is it going to be another one of those? I know why I'm bad. Because my father was like, it felt like it was just like more possible excuses. And I was just like, I don't really need to hear that. I'm good. I'm like, you're off the hook with me. The other siblings, they're not talking to you, they're angry, whatever. But I was like, for me, we're off the hook. We're good. If you want a relationship, let's have one. But what was interesting with him, he was so dead set on wanting to tell me why he was a bad father. And I was just like, it's not that important anymore. And congratulations, I'm so glad you. And I wasn't even smart. I wasn't even smart about it. I was just like, congratulations. That's great. I love having a piff. I love learning stuff. But I forgive you. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. And see, for him, he said I cut him off. I would not listen to him. Cut him off. So for him, he took that as being mean, called me names. So he go fuck myself, fuck my forgiveness. So he saw at face value that, well, it comes across. He saw at face value as, I'm trying to tell you something. You don't want to hear it. You're cutting me off. That's not fair. Fuck you. And I'm coming from a place of, are we tired of all this? Can we just let it go? I'm like, I don't need more. And my thing is, if he had worded, because he had first yelled at me on the phone. We never talked. And he sent me a text like, don't be an asshole. And I was all like, what are you talking about? Maybe the approach would have made a difference. Because sometimes, approach makes a difference. Maybe if he came at me in a certain way, maybe I would listen. I don't know. But I'm like, maybe if he had answered, thank you, James. I appreciate that you are forgiving us and forgiving me. And it was just coinciding in what I feel is an epiphany. Maybe he said it that way. I mean, I don't know. But I don't regret my decision. I don't. Just from all things I've talked. And once he called me once, and my grandmother was sick, and he was like, you need to go see your grandmother and stop being out. I'm like, first of all, we're grown man, you can't tell me what to do. But what he didn't do is due diligence. I had been with my grandmother for 4 hours that day. And when I brought that up, he couldn't say anything. It's like you're always just on the offense, just like, James, you're this. I mean, so it's like I can't do anything right in your eyes. That's a problem. So then I forgive you, and you're like, excuse me, you don't forgive me. How did you forget? You just took such an offense to it, and I was really being sincere. So and then my father's still alive. Like I see, he's over somewhere in LA. But it's just like I don't have any drama, and he has a whole new family and whatever. And for whatever, all those years, you want nothing to do with me. And you come back into my life, and you don't actually act like you want to be friends with me again. It just sounds like you want to tell me what you did, you think you did, and then bye. It was just a weird comeback. But again, even when he told me to go screw myself, I still forgive him.